Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The diagnostic trouble code DTC P0983 specifically refers to an issue with shift solenoid valve D, indicating an open circuit. This error does not stem from DTC P0983 indicates that there is an open circuit in shift solenoid valve D, which is crucial for automatic gear shifting in the Honda CRV. This solenoid plays a vital role in controlling the transmission fluid flow, enabling smooth transitions between different gears based on engine load and speed. The solenoid is housed within the transmission assembly, positioned so that it can effectively manage fluid dynamics during gear shifts. An open circuit in this solenoid means there is a break or fault in the electrical pathway that can prevent it from operating correctly. Identifying this issue requires thorough electrical diagnostics, as it is essential to verify whether the problem is indeed an electrical circuit failure or a potential intermittent issue with the vehicle's electronic components. Several causes could lead to DTC P0983 being triggered. Primarily, an electrical circuit problem is responsible, which means the wiring or connections related to shift solenoid valve D may be compromised. Another common issue is poor connections. Loose or corroded terminals can inhibit electrical flow, causing the solenoid to malfunction. The powertrain control module, PCM, may also be at fault, particularly if it is outdated in terms of software or has developed internal failures. It's important to examine these areas methodically, as resolving connections or replacing defective components can often rectify the situation. Ensuring continuity in wiring and verifying the PCM functionality is essential in this troubleshooting process. When DTC P0983 is present, several symptoms may manifest in the vehicle's operation. Drivers might notice significant transmission shifting issues, such as delayed gear engagement or harsh shifts between gears. Additionally, warning lights may illuminate on the dashboard, indicating a problem within the transmission system. There can also be an overall loss of performance in the vehicle, as the automatic transmission may not function as intended without proper activation of the solenoid. These symptoms contribute to an inadequate driving experience and could potentially escalate into more severe transmission issues if not addressed promptly. Thus, it's imperative to diagnose and resolve the underlying problem linked to this DTC efficiently. The first troubleshooting step involves verifying the presence of DTC P0983. Begin by turning the ignition switch to the on position, known as ignition on 2, without starting the engine. This allows the HDS to access the vehicle's electronic systems to check for existing DTCs. Next, clear any previously stored DTCs using the HDS. After clearing, start the engine with the shift lever in the park position, allowing the vehicle to settle for at least 1 second. Finally, check the HDS again for any pending or confirmed DTCs. If P0983 is still detected, the failure is confirmed, and you may proceed to the next troubleshooting step. In the second step, the operation of shift solenoid valve D needs to be checked. Using the HDS, navigate to the miscellaneous test menu and select the option for shift solenoid valve D. Initiate the test to engage the solenoid and pay close attention for any clicking sounds. A clicking noise indicates that the solenoid is functioning as it should, confirming that there is no mechanical blockage or malfunction within this component. If the clicking sound is audible, the solenoid itself is operating correctly, and you can advance to the next troubleshooting step. If there is no sound, it suggests a possible fault, requiring further investigation into the electrical circuit or potential internal issues with the solenoid. In this troubleshooting step, the goal is to check the onboard diagnostics (OBD) status for DTC P0983. Begin by starting the engine with the shift lever still in the park position, similar to previous steps. Then, monitor the OBD status within the HDS for information on DTC P0983. If the HDS indicates that the DTC has failed, this confirms the recurring problem, and troubleshooting must continue. However, if the HDS displays passed, it can suggest that any issues may be intermittent or related to wiring connections. In such cases, it becomes essential to check for poor connections or loose terminals between shift solenoid valve D and the powertrain control module, PCM. If the status reads not completed, it suggests that further diagnostics or a test drive may be necessary. For the fourth step, an internal resistance check of shift solenoid valve D is required. Begin by ensuring that the ignition switch is in the lock position, ensuring safety during the procedure. Utilize the HDS to jump the SCS line, which helps to facilitate the testing process. Disconnect the PCM connector C49P, as you'll need to measure the resistance across specific test points. Following the defined test circuit, measure the resistance between test points. This involves connecting one probe to the PCM connector C number 32 and the other to a ground. The resistance should ideally be measured between 13.8 to 17.1 ohms. This range confirms that the solenoid is functioning correctly. If the resistance falls within this range, it indicates no issues with the solenoid. But if not, further investigation into the wiring or solenoid condition is required. The fifth step involves checking for an open wire in the shift solenoid harness line. Start by disconnecting the shift solenoid wire harness 8-pin connector, ensuring the ignition is still in lock position. This step is crucial as it eliminates the possibility of any complications from the solenoid itself. Use the multimeter to check for continuity between specific test points as defined in the test circuit. This involves measuring between the pink wire at the shift solenoid 8-pin connector number 5 and the pink wire at PCM connector C number 32. If continuity is present, the wiring is intact. If not, it confirms an open circuit in the SHD wire, indicating a need for repair between the shift solenoid wire harness and the PCM. Step 6 focuses on examining the shift solenoid wire harness for continuity issues. Remove the shift solenoid wire harness completely to ensure accurate testing. As with previous tests, ensure that the ignition remains in the lock position before proceeding. Using a multimeter, check continuity between defined test points across the wire harness connections. This involves comparing connections from the yellow wire at the solenoid valve D1P connector number 1 to the yellow wire at the shift solenoid wire harness 7P connector number 4. A successful continuity test confirms that the wire harness is operational. If the test reveals a lack of continuity, this indicates a fault in the wire harness itself, necessitating its replacement for proper system operation. After completing the necessary repairs, it is essential to conduct a final repair verification to ensure the DTC P0983 has been resolved. Begin this process by reconnecting all connectors that were previously disconnected. With everything back in place, turn the ignition switch to the on position to power up the vehicle's systems. Next, use the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS, to clear any stored DTCs. Once cleared, start the engine with the shift lever in the park position, allowing it to idle for at least 1 second. Then, perform a test drive in second gear for the same duration. After completing these steps, monitor the OBD status using the HDS to determine if the DTC P0983 is indicated as passed. This confirms that the initial issue has been rectified and allows the vehicle to return to normal operation. Preventive maintenance is critical in ensuring the long-term functionality of the transmission system and preventing issues such as DTC P0983 from arising in the future. Regular diagnostics using tools like the HDS can help monitor the health of the transmission system and catch early signs of potential failures. Additionally, keeping the powertrain control module (PCM) software up to date is essential, as manufacturers often release updates to improve performance and rectify known issues. Regular inspection of wiring connections related to the shift solenoid can catch any corrosion, loose connections, or damaged wires before they become significant problems. Taking these preventive steps not only enhances vehicle reliability, but also promotes safety and performance on the road. In summary, DTC P0983 indicates a crucial issue related to shift solenoid valve D, primarily pointing towards an electrical circuit malfunction rather than mechanical failure. Following the structured troubleshooting guide is vital for accurately diagnosing and resolving the problem effectively. Each step, from verifying DTC presence to checking wiring connections and solenoid function, plays an important role in isolating the fault. Ultimately, properly addressing this DTC not only restores the intended shifting operation of the transmission, but also ensures optimal overall performance of the vehicle. Regular maintenance checks and prompt attention to emerging issues can help prevent similar problems in the future, safeguarding the vehicle's longevity and reliability. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.